My name is Sammy Udy. I am the founder and the director of the Cross the Line Project.
My name is Lusan Smith. I am the events manager for the Cross the Line Project.
So I'm Ida Colley. I'm the communications and personnel manager.
Hi, I'm Caleb Carpenter, programming and outreach manager.
Hi, I am Sarah Michener, and I am the public relations and marketing manager.
The Cross the Line Project endeavors to make classical music accessible to the Winston-Salem community.
Through the organization of free shows at diverse venues and the showcasing of UNCSA student musicians performing passionately created music,
Cross the Line strives to increase the approachability and popularity of classical music to people who would not seek it out themselves.
I'd say the Cross the Line Project is just a group of students looking to just reach out into the community. It's just us finding ways to bridge the gap, I guess.
And the Cross the Line project is something that gets musicians and audience members in the same kind of headspace, so that there's not kind of the museum culture of we don't clap between the movements, we don't do anything disruptive during a concert. This aims to kind of remove that barrier and let us be having the same experience at the same time.
Because I think that there's always this big disconnect between the performer and the audience. And I think that in order for music to continue to evolve and kind of grow to the next level, that interaction has to be there.
and our goal is really to experiment with different ways to make classical music accessible to different kinds of people.
It was just a way to help people see that this music is still important and relevant.
The Cross Line Project was really crafted out of this lack of connection between the audience and the musician that the students at UNCSA were really feeling. We have this desire to share what we love and to really connect with people about it, and we were really feeling like that maybe wasn't happening, or at least it wasn't happening to the degree that we thought possible. And so we decided, hey, we're going to start this project, we're going to experiment and kind of try and do some different things, and we're going to see what works and we're going to see what doesn't. And so that's kind of what we found out this semester. And so this project, it challenges the musicians to find ways to engage with the audience, but it also challenges the audience to kind of do something that is really out of their comfort zone and kind of, not ordinary. But we like that. I mean, it's an organic relationship that forms by two parties who are willing to take risks.
So I think what we're doing across the line is exactly what people want to see coming from classical music. They want it to stay involved in the community and not be some kind of dying art form. So I think we're really revitalizing what's happening in conservatories now. I think hopefully what we're doing is making the audience just a much wider range, between cultural and ethnic groups, age groups, social classes, whatever you want to call it.
The sharing of music is more about the audience than ourselves.
So research shows us that there are a few barriers that keep people from engaging with the arts in general and with classical music specifically. So some of those are, the cost of admission or the location of the event or the concert. Or perhaps this idea that musicians and artists are elitist people who have kind of pretentious practices or personalities. And so what we wanted to do with Cross the Line was kind of challenge these notions and challenge these barriers that were keeping people away from classical music. And so that's what we've tried to do. So we've tried to make the cost of admission free. We've tried to bring music to the people rather than expecting people to come to us. We try to engage our audience in dialogue about what it is that we're doing, so that it's not this kind of elitist practice, but that it really is accessible. And so the dialogue that we kind of have with our audience and the engagement activities that we do really try to challenge that, really try to push the boundaries of what classical music has been kind of known to be, and what we think it should be. As young musicians in the 21st century, just trying to figure out what we want the future of classical music to be.
Our brass quintet, which is in partnership with the Chrysalis Music Institute at Lincoln Center, did a small concert at St. Philip's Church in Old Salem, and it was a part of their Harvest Day celebration. And we did a really diverse program of music ranging from jazz, baroque, and even some silly kids tunes. At the concert there, we did one of my favorite pieces that we did that day was This Old Man March, which is just based on the kids song, this old man, he played blah 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 blah, and we taught the group this little cut pattern that goes along with it. And I think that for the audience, it was a nice opportunity for them to experience something a little different, a little bit more interactive. And I think that for us as performers, it kind of helped take people out of their comfort zone.
So the concert we had at Cranky's wasn't really a concert. It was kind of, we had people, a jazz trio, come in for the brunch hour on Sunday, and then we had set up lots of arts and crafts and other creative activities on the tables, and we just invited patrons to create something along with us while we were creating something. And it was really cool for myself, because we got to help the people do that, and we would walk around and say, do you want to do this craft? Can we take a picture? How are you enjoying this? And then I got to go up and play with the jazz trio, and really show that I'm just a person at Cranky's also. I ate brunch, I did whatever, but then I can also get up and make music with these people. And I think that really showed the people there that we're just people.
Yeah, the Cobblestone Farmers Market was really fun. I enjoyed it. Usually we don't have performances early in the morning, and it had a whole different feeling to it, a very new feeling, and everyone was excited about the market, and all the different vendors loved hearing the chamber music, and it just brought life, I think, to the farmers market.
So the concert at Brookridge Retirement Home, we had the flute choir from UNCSA come and perform. And something that was so unique about the concert there was that we had the residents of the community come and give program notes for the concert, which I found was so unique because we're so used to, we speak and we present the program, but this time it brought a lot of more conversation between the residents and the performers.
One of the events that we did was at Renolda Gardens, which is just a really beautiful place surrounded by nature, kind of the perfect setting for classical music. And so we had a woodwind quintet from the Chrysalis Institute perform in the gardens, playing a myriad of music. They played Barber's Summer Music, Toffanell Woodwind Quintet, and the Carter Woodwind Quintet, and kind of talk to the audience about the historical aspects of these pieces, what it is that they like about these pieces. And then we also did some fun kind of engagement activities. We love the fact that Cross the Line is experimental in nature, that there are really no rules for what it is that we can do. We decide what we want our music to look like, and we decide what we want the engagement to look like, and what these two pieces working together should be. So it's exciting for students to get to make these decisions for themselves and not be told what to do, but instead be like, this is what I believe as an artist, and this is how I'm going to deliver that to my audience. Cross the Line is a really important training tool for musicians. We see more and more that these kind of outreach and engagement programs are kind of the future and the next step of classical music. And so for the students at UNCSA, myself included, to be able to practice this in kind of a low-risk environment is really invaluable in my opinion.
But this puts them in the framework of the real world. This puts them like out there where the real audience is going to be, because once you leave these doors, it's not going to be, Great Watson Hall or a audience of 200 people during performance hour. It's going to be whatever you make it. So I think that Cross the Line gives the student musicians some leeway to kind of create their own space and get used to some of the steps that happen to like kind of find ways to perform in the community. And I think that it's extremely important, not only for the community, but for the musicians as well.
It's gotten me to think a lot more about what I'm doing as a performer and what ways can I make it easier for the audience to understand what I'm doing on stage.
I really think that as it pertains to the ensembles themselves, it really helps break up any apprehensiveness there is about doing these kinds of things. Because there's a lot of people in these chamber ensembles, they're great musicians, but they don't want to speak out. They don't want to talk to people, and it kind of helps break down that barrier, I'd say.
Yeah, I think being in Cross the Line has influenced how I think about being in the audience more than how I think about being a performer. Because we get to see, like, we get to talk to the people after the concerts and see what they think of everything. So I think that's kind of affected how I present myself and what I do on stage, even in more traditional settings. I think it makes me think about how the audience is seeing me a little bit more, and that influences what I give back to them. So I'm not thinking about like, you sit there and listen to me do this. I'm thinking about how will you see that, and how can we make this more personal.
Yes, Cross the Line has definitely influenced me as a musician. It's definitely made me want to do outreach more, just because of how when other people see the passion that we have, that we're trying to share, it sparks something in them. And I've seen that at the different events that we've held, especially Crankies, and people coming up and talking to us afterwards and sharing what they felt. It was really inspiring.
I am so excited about the future of Cross the Line. The foundation of the project has really been made this semester, and so I'm really hopeful that this will be something that will grow and continue to flourish.
I look forward to seeing Cross the Line in the coming years grow and access wider audiences.
Sometimes we don't realize that the audience brings something to us as well as us bringing something to them. So if we can continue to look for that, I think the future of Cross the Line is wonderful.